Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. Bob is nice, sir. Going up against 15 Sway here on Last Refuge. Bob is nice, actually. Bob is nice is his official name. Bob is nicer, I guess a pseudonym here. I guess nicer. You have to assume that 15 Sway is mean, or maybe 15 Sway is nice, and then just Bob is nicer. Don't know why I'm going off on that tangent in this Night Elf versus Undead matchup here on Last Refuge. Let's go ahead and dive right into the game here. 15 Sway as the teal undead on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Bob is nice as the yellow Night Elf on the top right. We are, I believe this game was taken from just normal ladder, so hopefully this game does not disappoint. Not super much on the line, but a lot of the times when players are playing on the ladder, they're able to experiment with different types of strategies and perhaps do some experimental builds. You are often not rewarded for creativity and on-the-fly thinking in actual tournament play. You want to test your tried and true strategies, and you don't want to actually make a mistake here. At the high level of play that we're looking at, 15 Sway Bob is nicer on the higher end in the grand scheme of things. Trying to come up with something original in tournament play, well, just generally backfires as well. Trying to find that perfect strategy on the fly doesn't really work. I know a lot of players say, you know what, it's just kind of boring, and that's what it is sometimes, right? Really trying to get good at something, whether it be a video game or any sport, esport or not, you sometimes just have to do the boring things, work on your mechanics, work on those strategies, and then when the time to really shine and show off is ready, you're able to, well, do very well. Hunter's Hall actually being built in a very odd location. So are we taking the tier 2? Bob is nicer building this Hunter's Hall off to the north side here. And, well, what's odd and interesting is that until 15 Sway actually scouts this out, he'll just see a green creep camp in that location. Meanwhile, Death Knight now looking to clear the same exact creep camp as well. This 3-3-3 creep camp should be cleared up pretty easily. We do see double sacrificial skull and a rod of necromancy all ready to go. So we may see, yes, a sixth acolyte perhaps going to be transitioning over and being able to set up an expansion. Demon Hunter picking up Immolation as that first ability, able to take down a lot of those melee creeps, since those melee creeps don't really reprogram themselves to know that it is hazardous to their health to stand that close to a Demon Hunter. All right, Forest Troll High Priest taking a bit of damage there. Meanwhile, Forest Troll Trapper going to fall as well. No, just picking up the replenishment potion and moving on its merry way. Death Knight now making his way off to the north here. Perhaps going to try and do a tower attempt. All right, the Acolyte actually being brought off to the north side here. And what is going to go here? There's that detonation. Death Knight does have enough mana now. And are we going to be looking at perhaps a sacrificial skull? And now perhaps, oh, beautiful detonation. But, well, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing again, and that's what we're looking at here. Huntresses now joining out on the battlefield, not archers, as the Demon Hunter does have Immolation next to Moonwells. That is going to be some easy picking and cleaning up, as the Ziggurats no longer have a blight. This tower attempt by 15 Sway may be coming to an end before it even really gets started, and this is a heavy investment. Not only are we seeing cancellation of these Ziggurats, but the blight is being used up rather quickly. Demon Hunter is starting to drain these Moonwells, and what is the follow-up play here? All right, Acolytes trying to retreat back here. Demon Hunter finally low on mana, and actually getting damage onto that Demon Hunter, well, worked out well, as suddenly the Moonwells are all bone dry, trying to replenish hit points and mana. All right, are we going to see that Ghoul getting taken down? Trying to, well, aggro Demon Hunter just shy now of level 3, and we see Dust of Appearance. They're trying to perhaps finish off a couple of these Huntresses. Dust of Appearance is now down. Low hit point Ghoul is trying to retreat back. Demon Hunter trying to retreat. And this is all because Bob did not go for tier 2 quickly. All right. Not going for tier 2 Acolyte or Ziggurat now done. Acolytes may try and get in some repairs. Ghouls are going to try and retreat back. There is one Nerubian tower. Are we going to see this Nerubian tower perhaps get trained up? There is some repairs, and the glaive is now bouncing onto that Acolyte, but that Acolyte is getting a lot of regeneration while on Blight. No Unholy Aura, though, just outside of that range. Nope, now getting that Unholy Aura as well, as this Ziggurat is holding steady at 100 hit points, but may not work out well. That Nerubian tower, once it starts getting damage onto the Death Knight and the Huntress, we may see enough micro to try and, well, nope, not enough micro to try and keep the attack that much slower. A second Ziggurat now being placed down, but with one Nerubian tower dealing normal damage, is it going to be enough? Demon Hunter now trying to retreat back here, down to 59, down to 87 hit points after those Moonwells. Death Coil still alive, still trying to retreat away, and the Death Knight trying to land that killing blow down to 14 hit points, and it looks like he will be able to get away. The Death Knight with Unholy Aura, that movement speed difference, just not quite enough. Meanwhile, down to the south side here, both sides are sitting at tier 1, as we see one Nerubian tower up and operational, and 2 additional Ziggurats now being built behind. Bob is nicer, well, bringing in some Ancient Protectors into the battle. Fortified armor coupled with repairs by Wisp gonna make this difficult, as the Huntresses are now coming over to reinforce. Demon Hunter down to, well, 72 hit points. Death Knight doesn't have enough mana, but does finish off an Archer there, as the Ziggurats one of the Ziggurats does end up getting cancelled. Second Ziggurat should already be upgrading to Nerubian Tower. Not quite sure why it isn't at this point and stage in the game. Perhaps just a bit slow for that upgrade. All right, upgrade now getting added in. Ancient Protector now moving its way over. Now remember, the Nerubian towers actually deal normal damage compared to the Ancient Protector's, well, piercing damage. So trying to do the calculation, who actually deals more damage to who. I believe the Ancient Protectors, well, their attack speed is average compared to a fast attack speed, so difficult to tell who actually has higher damage per second, as the Acolytes now coming over to try and repair. All right, Huntress, well, Shadow Meld not going to work. There's a Death Coil onto the Demon Hunter. Moonwells are no longer going to get filled, as a low hit point Huntress tries to dive on into the battle and may just end up getting taken down. All right, Death Knight still sitting at 2.5. Nerubian towers now in position, but that cold tower attack does not affect that Ancient Protector at all. Ballistas, or excuse me, glaive throwers now getting added in here as well, but it doesn't have the piercing damage, as this one Acolyte may be forced to try and retreat back. No, the Ballista now trying to go after the Acolyte here, or is that the Ancient Protector? Yeah, Ancient Protector there. Unholy Aura is going to provide a bit of regeneration here, as the Huntresses will try to test the waters again and again. Massive repairs are underway by Bob is nicer. As you can see, those Ancient Protectors with those attacks are able to, well, outclass in terms of damage right now, as there's more targets for the Nerubian towers to attack constantly. Additional Acolytes, perhaps they're going to try and get repaired. One Acolyte already retreating back here. That second Acolyte perhaps should have tried. Nope. And now 15 Sway says, you know what? I am going to cut my losses, unsummon these buildings. They get taken down. Demon Hunter nearly at level 4, as Bob is nice. Well, says, you know what, let's see what we can do now to flip the script. Tech to tier 2 nearly done. The timing on that tech to tier 2 is going to make it so that the Demon Hunter can try and hire up a Tavern Hero, a Naga Sea Witch perhaps, at just the right moment. Perhaps, well, should be retreating back here. No, instead, chasing after some of these units when the Naga Sea Witch could be key. All right, going after these units now. Huntress trying to finish off some units. Death Knight does have enough mana for a Death Coil, as the Necropolis is now nearly done. All right, a little bit of glaive bounce damage finding their way onto some, well, totally vulnerable ghouls, as the Demon Hunter now looks to retreat back here. There's Immolation being used once more. Level 2 evasion, no mana burn. Surprisingly, after all this time, and the Demon Hunter down to 131 hit points, able to still rack up quite a bit of damage here. Perhaps getting up Alchemist as well to continue this onslaught could be a useful thing too. All right, what are the glaive throwers looking to do here? What is the Demon Hunter going to try and do? He is low on hit points, needs to find a way to heal up, as we are now going into an Ancient of Wind and Ancient of Wonders, oddly enough. All right, Tavern Hero. Do we see, yes, a Keeper of the Grove is being trained up by Bob is nicer. Meanwhile, no Lich as of yet, quickly taking the tier 3, getting up that Slaughterhouse, and we are now looking at a much more traditional Undead versus Night Elf game, even though the timings are completely well off. All right. Ancient Protector absorbing quite a bit of damage here. Immolation now being used. Ancient Protector already down to 236 hit points. He is regenerating some hit points as well. Is that Ancient Protector going to be able to stay alive? No, he is not. Getting taken down by creeps, but the Demon Hunter does get to level 4. Healing Ward could be placed down by that Demon Hunter as well. A lot of low hit point Huntresses, and that Demon Hunter here could use a bit of regeneration while all of these Moonwells are still bone dry. Coming back down to scout the south side, Death Knight now sitting at level 3, going after the Forest Troll. High Priest creep camp here. Death Knight will get to level 3. Keeper of the Grove is now out on the battlefield as well, and bringing in a Staff of Preservation. Demon Hunter, is he going to try and throw down a Healing Ward? Yes, he does. Healing up all of the action here. Meanwhile, we do see the Lich now out on the battlefield as well. He is going to be going for Frost Nova first, as both sides are going to stay in their respective corners and beat up on the computer for a little while. All right, no problems with your audio, just decided to take a little, get a little bit of a break drinking just some root beer off to the side. All right, let's go ahead and continue this game now. Both sides just, well, naturally creeping, shouldn't have much of a problem. Keeper of the Grove will get to level 2. Ancient Protectors are in position as we are going into, well, mass Fairy Dragons, interestingly enough. Those Fairy Dragons will be able to do a lot of poking against all of these ghouls, but may not be able to finish them off. Meanwhile, a Ballista easily getting taken down by the creeps. Not quite sure what that was about here. A Ballista may have been useful when trying to attack here in just a moment. Meanwhile, Destroyer upgrade now getting completed as the Demon Hunter may get creepjacked here. Tome of Retraining. What is he going for? Mana Burn and Evasion. That one Healing Ward quickly getting cleaned up. There's a big Mana Burn. There's a Frost Nova onto the Demon Hunter as that Lich, well, drops 225 mana in no time flat. Keeper of the Grove now trying to retreat back. Lich does have that Orb of Corruption. There's another Mana Burn there, as the Demon Hunter starting to get swarmed by ghouls, realizing that he cannot take on that many melee units without Immolation. Both sides fighting their way through. Are we looking at another, well, skeletal minion going to get taken down due to timed life? Demon Hunter now retreating back off to the north, perhaps going to try and heal up, but without any, well, Moonwell Blessing upgrades, and without Druids of the Claw, he's going to make these Moonwells dry fairly fast. Meanwhile, back down to the southern side here, we are looking at a couple of Fairy Dragons looking to poke apart all of these units. There goes the mana on an Ogre Magi, dishing out a little bit of damage too, as the Death Knight and Lich now making their way over. All right, who's going to finish off that damage? There's a Mana Burn. Demon Hunter gets up to level 4, does pick up a 1 of Mana Stealing. Could try and steal it off of that Death Knight in addition to that Mana Burn, and with that, the Demon Hunter can really shut down those enemy heroes. He's really trying to go after those units here, perhaps try and even go after some of those Obsidian statues, as a couple of webs causing a bit of problems. Fairy Dragon, well, quickly getting taken down. That bonus armor, not quite enough, especially with that Orb of Corruption removing a lot of the armor from that Fairy Dragon. 14 minutes into this game, still no clear-cut victor. We see Bob is nice trying to set up an expansion, but, well, not going to really be able to pay for itself. A couple of Wisp, one detonation, one death, and another detonation there. Lich unable to get that final blow off. Naga Sea Witch as the third and final hero for Undead. Meanwhile, Death Knight really wants to get up to level 5 if possible. Level 5 on that Death Knight opens up that level 3 Mana Burn, which greatly shuts down the effectiveness of the undead heroes. Death Knight not being able to Death Coil, Lich not being able to Frost Nova. Suddenly, well, the opportunities are endless to try and pick them apart. Fairy Dragons, well, quickly going into that Mana Flare mode. We can see a Healing Ward being placed down there to minimize the effective loss of hit points as the Demon Hunter goes after these units. Demon Hunter now just shy of level 5 should be able to get there, or is it going to be, nope, yep, pretty much on the money. 1400 experience, so now a level 5, level 3, what exactly the Demon Hunter was hoping for to try and clean up the Death Knight, Lich, and Naga Sea Witch. Keeper of the Grove does have a wand of mana stealing. Gonna try and aggro things a bit. The Death Knight or the Demon Hunter should be backing away, I believe. But the Demon Hunter actually joining in on the battle, wanting to clear out to this creep camp quickly. Coming back across here, Death Knight sitting at level 4 picks up a Circlet of Nobility from the Goblin Merchant Shop. And I think that's just one of those big changes that well, not having Circlet of Nobilities available on the map anymore really prioritizes picking them up from that Goblin Merchant Shop and makes you realize how powerful it was compared to a lot of the items in the map pool, right? If you thought about it, that Circlet of Nobility gave +6 stats overall, which was similar to Robe of Magi, Belt of Giant Strength, or Boots of Quel'Thalas. Each of those, however, on a completely different tier in the drop table. Coming back through, Murloc Huntsman going to get taken down. There it ends up falling. There's a Mana Burn, Death Coil, Frost Nova. Demon Hunter, while trying to shake off some of that damage. The Demon Hunter at level 5 does have 1100 hit points due to that +8 strength. And, well, also has +14 agility, additional armor, quite strong there. Demon Hunter still trying to come back around, perhaps going to get another Mana Burn. Doesn't get the Mana Burn off, starts the animation, but the Staff of Preservation, a split second too quick. And the Lich able to hold on to that precious, precious mana. Oddly enough, the Naga Sea Witch opting to go for Mana Shield as that second ability over Forked Lightning. Normally, Forked Lightning is great for picking off low hit point units, but, well, Bob is nice recognizing, well, excuse me, 15 Sway recognizing that Bob is nice, is Fairy Dragons are going to be immune to that Forked Lightning, knowing that Death Coil, Frost Nova most likely more than enough to deal with the Huntresses and the heroes, opting to go for Mana Shield instead. Coming back through, what are we doing here? That Naga Sea Witch going to be difficult to take down. Meanwhile, this, well, creep camp has been cleared up. Demon Hunter, or Keeper of the Grove, sitting now at level, or very close to level 4, did pick up a Ring of Regeneration. Demon Hunter perhaps would like that item, but doesn't know what item to give up in order to do that transition. Maybe the Ring of Superiority, which only gives +1 to every stat, could be given up there. All right, we see a quick entangle. Frost Nova damage getting racked up here. The one low hit point ghoul getting taken down. Meanwhile, more attacks going down. You can see that those Fairy Dragons able to use their air to ground attack to focus down units. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter trying to engage across here. We're looking at a Fairy Dragon Focus Fire Mana Burn onto the Death Knight, and now we see the Naga Sea Witch is left. All that's left here. Are we going to see some more Mana Burns? Wow, yes, Obsidian Statue getting Mana Burn quickly. That is a priority target that many players forget about. So Bob is nice going after those Obsidian Statues, which holds the undead army together. 75 supply compared to 58. Both sides fighting their way through. Mana Burn still coming back across here as the Obsidian Statue here could get Mana Burn and finished off. No, just Fairy Dragons going after those units easily. 71 supply over 80 as we see some more Mana Flare coming back across here. Naga Sea Witch looking to finish off this Fairy Dragon. This Naga Sea Witch has not chosen a level 3 ability yet, as the two armies are going to get ready to re-engage. All right. Are they going to re-engage here? There's a quick reveal, finding that burrowed Crypt Fiend. Both sides fighting their way through. Fairy Dragons constantly getting webbed down. Keeper of the Grove trying to stay in the back here. Fairy Dragons may be able to finish off a Destroyer. No, Death Knight finds enough mana to get a Death Coil off, but the Demon Hunter still chasing after all those targets. No Mana Burn onto the Death Knight again. Death Knight seems to have mana for days, as a bunch of low hit point units on the ground here could get blown over. Well, Forked Lightning would be a very big deal here if it could actually hit some of those units. And there are some low hit point Huntresses, a lot of low hit point Huntresses, which could have been taken down. There goes one, there goes two. 2 Huntresses taking down 61 supply now compared to 36, as 15 Sway is up against the ropes but not tapping out yet. As the main bases are now starting to reach the end of their gold mine life. 2 minutes for Undead, about a little bit more than a minute for Night Elf. We need to figure out what they can do to perhaps get a rebound. Setting up expansions at this point in the stage in the game where your opponent's army is so large, well, that could come back to haunt you, as you're not able to easily defend that, well, fledgling expansion. Meanwhile, but if you both expand, then you go into your respective corners, and Undead, if they're able, nope, there's no additional creeps on the map, can't really catch up in that hero level advantage. It is going to come down, I believe, to the Demon Hunter, whether or not it can get to level 6 first. That will be the tipping point for Bob Is Nice to completely finish off 15 Sway. If he's able to get to level 6 first, he will have built up enough momentum and then use that metamorphosis to really finish things off. However, if the Death Knight can get up to level 5 and maintain his mana and keep his units alive, it will prevent the Demon Hunter from getting up to level 6. And then from there, 15 Sway can start to claw back and try to trade efficiently in these battles. We are looking at 2-0 upgrades on the Fairy Dragons, similar upgrade, or 0-2 upgrades, I guess inverse upgrades by the Crypt Fiends, as we're getting underway here. Lich getting up to level 4, perhaps not going to be that game-changing. Naga Sea Witch does have a decent amount of mana shield level 1, protected from physical damage and negative spells. All right. Out of gold here. We're looking at 57 over 60 supply, trading up another pair of Crypt Fiends. One more Crypt Fiend could get added in, as well as the Haunted Gold Mine running out of gold. Going into 57 over 60, there's a mana burn onto the Naga Sea Witch. And Naga Sea Witch, well, it might actually have been better for the Naga Sea Witch. There's some cold arrows. There's another mana burn. There's a Death Coil. There's a Frost Nova, as the Demon Hunter now trying to retreat back. Now, here's a weird situation for that Naga Sea Witch. That Naga Sea Witch, has natural regeneration and also mana regeneration. If it didn't have that mana shield on, it would have taken both hit point damage and mana damage and then been able to recover both naturally. I don't know if a game will ever come down to natural regeneration for the win in this particular scenario, but we've seen games come extremely, extremely close, and the smallest change making the greatest drastic difference. Tree of Ages is already going to try and, establish this gold mine here. 52 supply compared to 66, as the battle now raging underway here. Fairy Dragons trying to pull, Crypt Fiends trying to back away down to 154 hit points. The Fairy Dragons, while they are chasing, are not dealing damage, and the Crypt Fiends maybe could perhaps come back around. Death Knight sitting at level 5 takes a mana burn. Keeper of the Grove falls at level 4 as 15 Sway is trying to claw back into this game. 49 supply compared to 59, as another Crypt Fiend ends up surviving that level 3 Unholy Aura over level 3 Death Coil because of the mana burn. Naga Sea Witch now trying to retreat back. Fairy Dragons trying to push their way through, as the Keeper of the Grove, or the Demon Hunter, trying to get to level 6 here. This is a very close battle overall. Demon Hunter unable to get the necessary damage. Could mana burn this Obsidian statue and then get up to level 6, and then perhaps go into Metamorphosis here to try and maximize that damage. All right, are we going to see Metamorphosis? That is the question now, as both sides fighting their way through. There's another quick mana burn there. Demon Hunter trying to weigh the risk versus rewards of Metamorphosis versus mana burn on all of these targets. Obsidian Statue, one shot, mana burn finishes it off as well. Takes down another Obsidian Statue. That is huge, as we're looking at 40 supply compared to 41. Demon Hunter gets up to level 6, but perhaps level 3 evasion would have been the better call, as he's now going after the Naga Sea Witch, not having enough mana there at all. Finishing off the Naga Sea Witch there, and now looking to back away. 44 supply compared to 35. I could not have predicted this ending, but the Lich is now sitting at level 5 here and finishing off more of these Fairy Dragons as well. Another fairy dragon taken down. No more obsidian statues. But remember, Bob is nice does have gold coming in right now. That is going to be a big difference here, as we could be looking at some detonation. Huntress is now trying to make their way over. Demon Hunter back with full mana. 25-minute mark of this game, and both players have the opportunity to close out this game. Both players are pretty much on their last breath. Who's going to be able to cross the finish line? That is the question, as a big Frost Nova goes down on the Demon Hunter, preventing him from being able to catch up easily. Now, one thing to note, no Orb of Venom on this Demon Hunter. Resurrection on the Keeper of the Grove is halfway done. And suddenly, with the incoming Keeper of the Grove, perhaps Entangle will be the final deciding factor. 15 Sway cannot let that Keeper of the Grove make its way back out onto the battlefield. He needs to close out this game quickly and throw everything he has at his opponent immediately. All right. Death Knight now trying to lead the charge here. Nagasewich, here we go. 44 supply. Ancient Protector now being brought on over as well. Can they finish off this Tree of Ages in time, as we see a Dark Ritual for a little bit more mana on that Lich. Lich currently sitting at 86. There's that Metamorphosis. There's a little bit of that Chaos damage. Trying to find the proper targets. Doing some hit and run tactics as well, trying to finish off some of those Crypt Fiends. A little bit of splash damage, able to finish off one, able to perhaps finish off another, as the glaives are not bouncing onto that low hit point ghoul. New Obsidian Statue is out here on the battlefield. Demon Hunter trying to lead the charge here, gets a mana burn off on that Obsidian Statue, as the Obsidian Statue is trying to hold this army together. Death Coil does come in for the save. Bob is nicer, continuing the chase here and able to put in a lot of pressure, as the Obsidian Statue now down to 179. A little bit more chaos damage coupled with a mana burn should be enough, but the Obsidian Statue with Unholy Aura able to keep its distance. All right, no, more splash damage coming down across as well, as we're looking at the Demon Hunter now finally done with that Metamorphosis. All right, coming back on through, a little bit more damage. Crypt Fiends falling, 31 supply compared to 45. Bob is nicer, trying to close out this game. Death Knight going up against the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter could easily mana burn, and Bob is nicer is the victor. Bob is nice, outlasting 15 Sway in a 27-minute sprint, trying to see who can get that last hit and that last breath. Keeper of the Grove does end up showing up, but the Demon Hunter, well, really able to carry everything as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Here are the final scores. Yeah, look at that final total score. Less than 1,000 points between the two of them.